Good day everyone, Brayden here, coming to you from EPCOT, where today we're going to be taking a look at all the latest happening in the park, from the construction to everything else going on as we enter the holiday season here. If you look at the Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, they are already in full Christmas mode. Here in EPCOT, as you can see, there's really not a lot going on. Usually when we get into the Christmas season, you have those globes they put under the ticketing area here. Those are not installed yet, neither is the Christmas tree, because the Festival of the Holidays, EPCOT celebration of the Christmas season, begins November 27th. We are still in the food and wine season here, believe it or not. Ever since Walt Disney World reopened, EPCOT's been doing their longest food and wine festival ever, and it continues another 2 weeks. It goes through November 22nd, so we still have a little bit of time there. You know, it's funny, this time last year, work was really getting underway on the EPCOT Overhaul project. We were already pretty far into some projects, and I think it's safe to say we expected to get more this year. You know, things like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, we expected to be open by now. Harmonious, of course, is supposed to be open by now, the new nighttime spectacular, and we'll take a look at the latest work on those in a second here. Something awesome we will be getting before the year is up is the EPCOT Prism fountain right here. The walls are going to come down. Last week there was scaffolding up here. I think they're working on the plumbing, the lighting, some of the stuff on top, as well as they installed the tile on the fountain itself. That is all done now by the looks of it. The scaffolding is down, so it looks like at this point they just need to do some pathway work, some finishing touches on the fountain itself, and as Imagineer Zach Ridley said a couple months ago, this fountain will be unveiled before the year is over, and I'm very excited for us to see that. It's kind of hard to believe. To me, it actually feels like the time has flown. It was February of 2019 that we got the concept art for the reimagining of the EPCOT entrance here, and then we saw them get rid of the Leave a Legacy monoliths, and then they started working on this fountain. We got all these new planters, this new pathway. They even did all that work on the ticketing area where you have all those cool new colors. In fact, they just added EPCOT logos to all the ticketing booths. I think that looks really good. Let me know what you guys think about that. And then where you actually go to tap your Magic Band, the touch points, the overhang above those, it used to be yellow. Now they've repainted them white. They've added those really cool entrance and exit signs so you know where to enter and where to leave, which are done in the same sort of blue and gray style as the directional signs by the new tram area we saw installed earlier this year. And then of course you have the new pathway lighting, the new pathway, the new planters, and the last thing we have to get here is the EPCOT fountain itself. I'm very excited for us to see it. Still no ETA on when that will be complete. We'll just have to wait and see there, although it seems like it's really far along. I'm so excited for us to see that. And then also looking here at Spaceship Earth, as you probably know, work stopped on Spaceship Earth. They paused the development on the new Spaceship Earth, our shared story refurbishment that was supposed to be coming to Spaceship Earth last May. Still, it is not closed. The attraction right now is actually really busy. There's a huge line for Spaceship Earth right now. Something new we have gotten at Spaceship Earth is a new permit for electrical work that is going to be happening on the golf ball here. What I think Disney might be working on is adding LED lights to all of the vertices of Spaceship Earth. If you see in the concept art of the new Prism fountain that's about to be unveiled, you can see all those little lights that are on Spaceship Earth. Now, at one point, I think Disney's plan was to projection map all of Spaceship Earth, but now that that elevated structure over by World Celebration looks to be canceled, obviously they don't have a place to project on that side of Spaceship Earth, so instead, it looks like we are back to that original LED plan here on Spaceship Earth. I think that's gonna look really awesome. By the way, that's just some inside intel I'm giving you here. It's nothing official, nothing Disney has announced just yet, but it's something that I suspect, and we do have a permit, so we do have a little bit of evidence there. Let's head into EPCOT and see what's going on. Speaking of Spaceship Earth, I don't know about you guys, of course they repainted these columns silver a while back, but I think these blue lines up here are new. Heading past the big line for Spaceship Earth today, which is pretty surprising, here at the remaining section, the section still standing of Innoventions West, they have finally started tearing it down. There's a big section that has just been removed of the overhang right by where you used to enter Innoventions West itself, and it does look like this section of Innoventions West is not going to be saved by the lockdowns, and it still is being demolished. Right now I'm standing on this pedestal that used to tether those floating tiles. Remember, those used to go from the exit to Spaceship Earth here to the pin trading area. The middle of the pin pin trading area, like the middle column of that little shop, is actually still standing. If you look in the center here at the crater we have in the middle of Future World, I have to say, while of course the first half of the year we didn't see much of any work, of course there wasn't anything going on, it does feel to me that work is coming back here to the middle of Future World. Of course, this is the area Disney has to do something with. I mean, basically right now you have to take these two bypass walkways. This really isn't something that Disney can just leave like this. They have to do something with it, so it is good to see that work underway. It's still amazing though that Innoventions West has been closed for so long and it is still standing here. We'll see how long that stays up. I just noticed at the front of the old Art of Disney store, you can see one of the glass panes has shattered. Do you see that? You can see Spaceship Earth reflecting off of it. It looks wild. On the bypass walkway that goes from Spaceship Earth to Future World West, of course, you have all these Pavilion icons we saw debut at the D23 Expo last year. An update on each of them. Of course, the World Showcase is doing pretty good. Of course, we also have the EPCOT Experience Pavilion, which is also doing pretty good, although some of the clips from it have been removed. And then we have Test Track doing good as always. I think Test Track is due for an update at some point. If you remember, the last time they updated, it was 2012. And the way the sponsorship has always worked with GM is it's been 10-year contracts. So maybe we'll see an update to this in the near future. That'd be pretty awesome. But no promises there. And then of course here we have Mission Space, which got a graphics update in 2017. Then we have the Play Pavilion, which Disney is doing work on the top of right now. Then here we have the logo for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. The project seems to be coming along okay. I still think it'll open in 2021. The problem is it is part of a rumored work halt that is going to apply to both this attraction and Tron as Disney tries to reduce capital expenditures. Then here we have Spaceship Earth, and of course Disney has said that Spaceship Earth, our shared story, the update to the attraction, is paused, so we'll continue monitoring that one. Then we have the Seas here, which is operational, and it seems like people are really enjoying it. Something that's awesome is if you actually go inside, you know, to where the aquarium is. That's a great little area. Sea Base Alpha, highly recommend checking that out. This pavilion is one I think would be so awesome for us to see some sort of update to in the future. I know there's a lot of other things on the list before we would ever get to this one, but just looking at the Seas of Nemo and Friends, I think even some sort of story update, you know, retheming it so it's like the Marine Life Institute branding like you have out in Tokyo would be really awesome. Let me know what you guys think about that. And then here we have the Land, which is really one of the only pavilions in the history of Epcot that's really worked the whole time. You know, the Land, Test Track, which other ones can you name, right? Besides, I guess, Spaceship Earth would be the other one. And then here we have the logo for the Moana Journey of Water attraction, which I do believe is still gonna happen. It doesn't seem like a very high budget thing. And given that Disney is still moving towards getting rid of the rest of Innoventions West, they have to have a plan for something to put there. And I think it is still going to be this Moana attraction. So we'll see what happens there, this walkthrough attraction. And then this is the logo for Journey into Imagination, the project we want to see happen. Disney update the inside of that attraction. Who knows when it's going to happen given all the capital expenditure cuts and the fact that everything Disney announced in 2019 still has a long ways to go. But I hope we get to this one eventually because that'd just be so awesome. And then here, lastly, is the logo for the World Celebration, that World Celebration Festival Center building, which we do believe is canceled at this point, and Disney is going to do something else that's probably lower budget. Maybe it'll be just a turf field. Maybe we should give Disney some credit. Maybe it'll be something a little bit more permanent and a little bit more elaborate than that. But as of right now, we are not sure what exactly it would be. So that's a little bit of a rundown of all of the projects happening here in Epcot. I thought you guys would enjoy that. Now let's go take a look at these projects up close. As always, there's not really too much new happening over here in Future World West, except of course this section of Innoventions West that is yet to be removed. If you actually look above the Future West restrooms here, you can see that spot where the second half, where you used to have Club Cool and the Starbucks Fountain View over there, that section of the building has been torn down, and it really has looked the same ever since. And on our way up top to the Leaping Fountains area to get a better look into the center of Future World, here by Journey into Imagination, which currently is a 15-minute wait, Disney recently added back this directional sign in the original Journey into Imagination, you know, early 2000s style here. I really appreciate how this old sign still has a really well-themed Disney Vacation Club directional part on it. Of course, Disney added the Disney Vacation Club Lounge to the second story of Journey into Imagination not that long ago, back in 2017. And then up here by the Leaping Fountains, which are still off, as you can see looking into the middle of Future World, it is clear that there is work happening right now. when I'm actually up close near the walls, I can hear the construction equipment. I can hear it backing up, you know, and it beeps and stuff like that. And if you look into the middle there, something they recently did is tear out the entire facade of the Electric Umbrella counter service restaurant. All the glass that was there, that whole extra patio area you had that's outside, that has all been demolished. And above the breezeway in between Mouse Gear and where Electric Umbrella used to be, you can see they've actually even teared out the entire facade above it, you know, where you used to have that overhang. Now, something interesting is if you look at some of the concept art we have of this reimagined center area, sometimes the remaining part, the remaining Innoventions building looks as it does now. It's just repainted. But the odd thing is in other pieces of concept art, the building loses that overhang entirely. It looks like now it has like flat sides that are maybe like some sort of shiny alcubond like you have on Spaceship Earth itself. We're really not sure what's going on there, so maybe that's why they're starting to take that apart, you know, take the facade off of it, or they have something else in mind there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Besides the welding work that's happening inside of the new Mouse Gear location that hopefully you'll see start to come together here, and also the work that's happening demolishing the inside of the Electric Umbrella, that's really it for the visible developments inside this area so far. And one other thing of note, they have like a little break area. You see those little tents? The white tarps that usually go on top of those tents where the workers can get some shade, those have been taken off because as I am filming this today, there's a tropical storm rolling through Central Florida. So that's what that's about. Taking a look at what's going on over here in Future World East, in the distance, you can see the Wonders of Life Pavilion, and then behind that, looming in the distance, you have the big blue box where the Guardians Coaster action is going to be happening. Looking at the front facade of the Universe of Energy, where a lot of work's been happening for this Guardians attraction, you can see now there are these circular things sitting on the roof. I'm not sure what those are. Getting a closer look here, for a second I thought those were spools of wiring for the solar cells to connect all them, but what it actually is, by the looks of it, is it's rolls of the roofing material that they're using to seal the top of the building. And if you look here, this other piece of scaffolding out in front of the building, that is where that Nova Corp ship is going to go that's featured in the concept art. It's going to go right there. And then next to the Universe of Energy, the Future Guardians attraction, here you have the Future Play Pavilion, formerly the Wonders of Life. Now, over the past few months, we've seen all of the tiles, the gold tiles, be removed. And my theory for the longest time is what they were doing here is taking off the tiles so they can put in that projection ceiling. They're going to projection map the ceiling on the inside of the dome. My theory has changed. I think I was wrong about that. Something that seems much more likely is something we've always heard with the Wonders of Life is that it leaks, right? Water gets in, and obviously when you have a projection ceiling, you don't want that. So what if all these little, what seem like plastic coverings, what if those aren't plastic? What if those are some sort of sealant? It's actually sealing the dome airtight, watertight, and then on top of whatever these are, whatever material these are, they add back on the tiles after that. So now you have an extra layer of protection between the outside of the dome and the inside of the dome. So that way the issues we've heard in the past with the inside of the dome leaking, that will never ever happen again. So let me know what you guys think about that theory. By the way, that is not my own theory. That is actually something one of you guys commented on the last video where I was incorrectly speculating about what's going on inside of the Wonders of Life here. So shout out to whoever commented that. I'll put it on the screen here. Now, next to the Play Pavilion work, here we have Mission Space. I was here in EPCOT on Halloween, and right here above Mission Space, there was a full moon that was at 100% intensity, and it looked pretty wild. It was right here above Mission Space. I got some video of it for you guys. So there you go. At the front of Mission Space here, you can see the walls are still up where they're making the new signage and the facade for what will be the entrance to the Space 220 restaurant. They're gonna have like a little sign set up there, and that is actually where you're going to enter the Space 220 restaurant itself, which I will remind you was originally supposed to open late 2019. Here we are, late 2020. Where is it? Where is the Space 220 restaurant? If you go around the side between Mission Space and Test Track where the restaurant itself is actually located, you can see it looks pretty far along, pretty much done from the outside. You can see there's that outdoor patio or walkway area. We really aren't sure what that is just yet, but you can see there are actually some pathway lights that are on right now. Those brand new pathway lights, which look really nice. Over here at Test Track, because of the tropical storm situation, it's been up and down all day. Right now it is a 45-minute wait here at Test Track. It looks like the skies are clearing up, which is really good to see. Now we are gonna head over to the World Showcase and see what's happening over there. In 2 weeks, there will be a Christmas tree here, which will be awesome. We're still in Food and Wine right now. And here you can see Elsa. It's pretty cool they do that horse and buggy around the World Showcase. I'm sure I don't need to remind you just how long of a distance that is. going all the way around the World Showcase. That is pretty amazing. It's really cool Disney does that and has the horses. Now, it looks like Mickey and friends are coming over with the next cavalcade. Hey, there's Mickey and Minnie. Very nice. Hey! Now you guys might recall in the old days, before everything got crazy, this used to be the World Showcase Promenade, where people used to sit down and watch the nighttime spectacular here in Epcot. Of course, for the longest time, it was Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, my personal favorite Disney fireworks show, and then it was the temporary Epcot Forever show, and then that ended in March when everything locked down, and ever since we have not had any nighttime spectaculars here in Walt Disney World. But that might not be the case in 2021. I hope it's not. It better not be the case. We really need those back, I think. And what's awesome is, although we were supposed to get it this summer, Harmonious, the new nighttime spectacular coming here to the World Showcase, it is moving along very nicely. We can see in the latest aerials from Bio Reconstruct, the work back in the Epcot Marina is going along quite nicely. In fact, now they are installing the LED panels themselves onto those massive floating barges. There are 4 of them that are going to go out on the water here, and they are actually going to be these huge screens where they're going to show all sorts of visual media, a lot of intellectual property stuff. I'm not really sure how much I'm gonna like the show as far as the content of it goes. It does look very intellectual property heavy, which I don't think is the right choice here for Epcot. But the infrastructure itself Disney is putting together here is really nice. Disney did not cheap out on this show by any means. And there's actually more than 4 barges. Those are just the ones that are screens and the arms that go up and down that are gonna have lights on them, as you can see in the concept art and sort of the preview video inside of the Epcot experience. There's also going to be another barge in the middle, a giant barge, which I think is going to have some sort of water feature to it. Right now it just looks like a giant circle, and we've seen in the concept art they're going to have images inside of that circle. So how are they going to do that? It's likely going to be some sort of projection screen. Could it be a water projection screen? It does look like there's a lot of plumbing inside of that circle there. I don't know if you guys see that. Also, maybe something they could do is perhaps, like, just when the show starts, there's some sort of projection screen. I don't know how they would do that. Safe to say the work Disney's doing with Harmonious is extremely exciting. The infrastructure is amazing. You can even see out on the water here, there are these permanent pieces of show tech now that just sit out on the water, all those electrical substations and things in the middle of the World Showcase Lagoon. But when nighttime entertainment returns here to Walt Disney World and the sun sets on the World Showcase, this is going to be one amazing show. And by the way, one thing I'm really excited about with Harmonious is it still looks like we have one vestige of Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, which are these torches. It doesn't look like they're going to be going anywhere. These torches that light up at night. Something also cool I witnessed on my Halloween evening here in Epcot last week was from the World Showcase, that 100% illumination full moon. The light was bouncing off of the World Showcase Lagoon here, and you could see in the foreground the awesome Illuminations torch in that background with the moon. Just absolutely amazing views. In fact, I also got some video of the Harmonious crane, the crane that's back in the marina that's putting together these enormous barges. You can actually see that crane with the full moon behind it. Just such amazing stuff. You can actually see from the World Showcase Promenade the Disney Skyliner cars, the gondolas going by. Real quick guys, earlier when we did the rundown of all the projects that were on that wall, the Future World bypass wall, all those logos, one that's not present because it doesn't have a Pavilion logo because it's in the World Showcase is the Mary Poppins project. If you remember, that was announced at the D23 Expo, a Mary Poppins themed attraction. It was supposed to come back here in the UK Pavilion. That project is canceled at this point. I don't think it was going to be anything that great anyways as far as the attraction itself goes. I think at most we were talking indoor teacups and a meet and greet. I seriously think that was like the apex of what was going to be back here. It still would have been really nice to get more buildings back here along with the buildings you already have. The architecture here is so cool. It's really awesome, and ever since the parks closed back in March, of course, we haven't had a British Revolution back here, the live band. It would be nice to see live entertainment return here to Walt Disney World. That definitely made areas like this right here with the garden maze really special and something where people would hang out back here. So hopefully we'll see Disney bring some sort of offering back here sometime soon. So everyone, we've made it back here to Ratatouille, the Ratatouille entrance. This is where you're gonna go. That brings you around to the back, and that of course is where you have the attraction itself. And looking at the latest aerials here, going on the gondola, going on the Skyliner and seeing it here, let me know what you guys think, but I think it looks pretty much ready to go. Of course, you have the new counter service back there, the creperie, where you're gonna have authentic French crepes, and then you have the attraction itself. As far as the exterior goes, it's really come together nicely here. It really looks like it is just about done. Of course, there's a lot of debate about what the inside looks like. From my sources, it sounds like it's pretty much complete. Just a matter of actually operating the attraction, getting things running smoothly. Disney really hasn't signaled to us that they're going to start running the attraction anytime soon, but I guess we'll just have to see on that and hope for the best. Something interesting, Disney just added a new piece of signage right under the Ratatouille archway here. There is a new wait time board where from the front of the France Pavilion here, you'll be able to look over and see the current wait time for the attraction, so you don't have to actually walk all the way behind the France Pavilion, check it there, and then walk out. Of course, you could also just check the app on your phone and skip all of that altogether, but definitely a cool addition here, Disney adding that wait time board to the front of the attraction. That's the latest happening here in EPCOT as far as all the construction and all the other developments going on. Definitely a lot happening here in Walt Disney World. I'll be headed over to the Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios next week to show you guys all the latest going on with all the holiday stuff going on. I'm sure you guys have already seen stuff, but we're gonna do something very special. We're gonna do a full guide. We're gonna try as many treats as we can. We are gonna cover all the decorations, all of the events, everything you can check out. Be sure to subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss any of that on the way. I am very excited to film those videos. It's gonna be a fun next couple weeks here in Walt Disney World, filming everything going on. Thank you guys so much for watching live from outside of the France Pavilion here in EPCOT, where hopefully soon you're gonna be able to go check out Remy's Ratatouille adventure. This is Brayden. Have a magical day.